Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Elmo, and today we're going to be talking about my reading goals for 2024. I'm finally making this video, and it feels great. I gotta say, hi. It's the first week of January. First week done. 2024, first week done. How are we feeling? We doing well? I hope we're doing well. It's a new year, taking it in stride. 2024 reading goals. I read 5 books in 2023. In 2024, I want to read 10. Ambitious, very ambitious. I know, but I think I can do it. So I'm gonna try and do it. Way back in my reading heyday of early secondary school, I would average about 10 books a year. Like, I devoured a 7-book series in 5 weeks. We're not trying to be that. We've moved on since then. There's a lot of stuff on my bookshelf, and I'm quite proud personally of having such a wide array of interest when it comes to reading. The things on my reading list are things I'm aiming to read. They might not be the things I end up reading over the course of the year. So let's get into it. I'm talking too much. Let's get into it. The first book is I'm Glad My Mum Died by Jennette McCurdy. I'm almost halfway through this book. It is so hard hitting. Some of the stuff in this book is very powerful, quite traumatic, and sometimes very difficult to read through. The reality of it being a biography, being someone's actual lived life and actual experiences, just makes it that more compelling. I've spoken to my own mum a few times about some of the things that happen in this book and how it just reminds me of things about my life that I kind of wish it didn't. That's number 1. These are my priority reads. That's number 1. Number 2, Brave New World. Aldous Huxley. I am a big fan of dystopias written by crusty old white men, and this is one of them. Fahrenheit 451 is my favourite book, and I will talk about it at length given the opportunity. I am very nearly finished with this book. Look how few pages there are. I started this book in 2021. We're coming up on the 3rd year of having not read this book. I have annotated this. My little, yes, I used ink pen, sue me. It's my book, I'm keeping it. At least I don't dog-ear the pages. We've got all these little things, and I have a lot of notes. I have notes about death, particularly, what's the name for it? Like a conveyor belt, like industrialization of humanity, of society. Every person is made for purpose, and they are created. It's very scientific, a very non-compassionate, non-feeling process. Some have alcohol put into their development things so they can create lesser class workers, which insane. There's so much in this book. If you're a dystopia fan, if you like nerdy science things, if you are interested in how the advancement of humanity can go wrong, then sure, this is the book for you. I'm gonna finish it and then I'm gonna do a video about it because I have to. Number 3, This Fragile Earth by Susanna Wise. Very interesting, kind of on the same dystopia train. Modern London, which relies heavily on technology. There's drone bees because they killed all the bees and they're like, oh fuck, we kind of needed those. All of this technology that they rely on, one day all of it stops working. She has to basically work out, what she's gonna do. She's got this very young son, she's got a husband, everything's going insane. People are looting shops, there's no more deliveries, there's bombs going off, it's a whole thing. She has a friend who is a scientist who she wants to try and meet and get to know what's happening. She can't contact him. The phones don't work. There's no internet. She doesn't know where he lives. He's a childhood friend. She doesn't know his address. She doesn't know his work address. I want to know what happens. I have so many questions and I don't know the answers. Priority number 4. This is Horns by Joe Hill. The very little I've read is very good. There's this guy called Ignatius. Yeah, like that hospital Garrett Watts investigates. That's his name. Or Ig for short, which I think it just reminds me of egg, which I can't. No one will understand that reference. Basically, Ig's girlfriend gets murdered and he gets put on trial for it and is then found innocent. That's where this book starts. I have no idea where it goes or where it ends. Some very strange things start happening and people start to tell him things that their deepmost desires that they would never tell anyone. They just happily tell him. Some people are doing terrible things that are hot damn, are you sure you want to do that? Are you sure you want to say that? You believe this? When I read this book, I feel a bit like a scandalized Victorian woman. Oh my goodness, Jeffrey just voiced this heinous opinion. That's me when I read this. It's about 400 pages. I normally read 200 to 300, so going for something that's over 4 is a challenge for sure. Am I reading a fanfic that's 1,000 pages long at the same time as doing this challenge? Yes. Am I even going to include that in the count despite everything? No. Have I read more of that 1,000-page fanfic than any of my books combined this year already? Yes, but we're gonna ignore that. My last priority. This book has made my 5th simply because it has been lent to me and I need to return it. This is The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat by Oliver Sacks. It is a collection of a lot of case studies about people with often bizarre neurological disorders. It's a little outdated, but we can forgive this for niche special interest fuel. That's what this is. I have had many a special interest take over my life and then sputter out into nothing, and I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing back the days of obscure medical disorders. I'm just hyped to read it. I think it'll be fun, and then I can return it and not feel guilty about keeping this book for ages. And those are my priorities for 2024. That's them. That's it. But wait, there's more. 5 more. That's just half of the books I have that I want to read. The Hunger Games. I am reading The Hunger Games. I have never engaged in Hunger Games media until the very end of last year, where I watched the film adaptation, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I watched that film and was like, it's a dystopia. No one ever told me it was a dystopia. I thought it was a fantasy novel. It's a good time already. If I'm reading 50 pages every other day, like a 5th of the book. We're reading Hunger Games this year, and eventually I'll tell you what I think about them. Children fighting to the death to assert control over your fellow statesmen. That happens. It's a good time. That's number 1. You might notice a theme here, because number 2 is The Handmaid's Tail by Margaret Atwood. Lots of people did this book in school. I think a lot of the books on my shelf people studied in school, and so they're like, you've never read that book? No, I haven't. That's why I'm reading The Handmaid's Tale, because it's very culturally significant, I think, as well. It's only 300 and a bit pages long, so it should be okay. The next one is The Odyssey by Homer. Did I break my book ban at the end of 2023 to get it? Yes. Have I broken my book ban in 2024 yet, and am I going to address that I did for this? No, it's fine. Am I entering my Greek mythology person era? Of course. But ancient Greece, now that is something I can talk about at length. It's kind of funny, as soon as I got this book and started telling people I was going to read it, I found out nearly everyone I know loves ancient Greece. Everyone. And they are very hyped for me to get into it, and so am I, so there we go. Sticking to that theme, this is Madeline Miller's The Song of Achilles. This had people feral a couple years ago. Now that I'm entering Greek mythology era, I feel it is only appropriate to get in on said ferality. So I'm going to read this. Only makes sense. It's cool. It's cool. I'm going to read it. And it's gay, so that's a bonus. Once more, I also have Circe by Madeline Miller. When I say I'm diving into Greek mythology, I do mean it. I've been watching the Percy Jackson series. I read the first book and now I kind of want them all. And apparently you can get them from the works for £10. But Circe, yes. I have 2 friends who did their final degree dissertation that included Circe, and so I'm very excited to be able to talk Greek mythology with them, and it would be a nice kind of change of perspective as well. I think a lot of classics that we read are always from male perspectives, or they show women as subservient or a step for the man to use to get deeper into the story, and I'm kind of bored of that. I want something different, so this is my something different, and those are my books for 2024. One day I will be able to look at my bookshelf as an achievement rather than an obstacle, and I'm kind of excited about that. I hope everyone's reading journeys are going well. I hope your 2024 is going well. I was so happy to see so many people in the comments of my introduction video deciding that this year they're gonna make a return, they're gonna try and read again, they're gonna go on their own reading journeys, and I wish the best for all of you. I really do. I hope that you can share some of the ones you're planning to read, either in the comments or in your own YouTube videos. I hope you're all having a good time. I'm having a good time. I plan to. It's gonna be a great year, and I'm very excited to be sharing it with you guys. That was sickeningly sweet. I need to end this video. I'll see you when I see ya, and see ya. That'll do. Right as the fucking bin lorry comes in as I'm doing my outro.